One of the weirdest and definitely most hypocritical things about Donald Trump's support is that he seems to have a pretty solid base of support from the religious right. You know, those holier than thou individuals, everything the left does is a sin, but apparently everything Republicans do is totally fine and is definitely what Jesus would do, right? Well, according to conservative writer Peter Wehner, who writes for The Atlantic from a Christian conservative perspective, so this is a guy who writes from a Christian perspective, Donald Trump has lured these evangelicals into his, what Wehner calls, moral freak show. During an appearance on MSNBC this week on Morning Joe, Wehner explained it this way about all of these evangelicals who overlook the many sins of Donald Trump to twist their own religion in order to support him. Here's what he said. They are voting for a man who said, "I don't need God to forgive me." Okay, right off the bat, that is a statement that is blasphemous to any actual Christian. Christians do believe that they need God's forgiveness. For Donald Trump to say, "I don't need God to forgive me," that is blasphemous because everyone is born with original sin. So you do need God's forgiveness. But anyway, Wehner continues. So how do they say, "I'm voting for my Christian values. I'm going to vote for a man who every day undermines everything that Jesus said and says that he doesn't need God's forgiveness?" You know, it's a psychological trick that they're playing. They've justified it by turning this race into an existential crisis that the Democrats and progressives are against Americans. So Trump is the only thing that stands between them and catastrophe, but of course, it's the opposite thing. And I do think what you're getting, the point you're making, Joe, is exactly right. It's been a catastrophic damage that's been done to the Christian witness because this is a moral freak show. Now, what's interesting to me is that you have these religious individuals on the right who are clearly supporting Donald Trump. And when you confront them about all of the horrible things Trump has said, all the horrible things that he's done, the felonies, the affairs, the Access Hollywood tape, they respond and tell you that nobody's perfect, right? They're not voting for a savior. They're just voting for a man who understands he was wrong and, maybe is seeking forgiveness. But as we see, Trump says he doesn't need it. The point is that argument that nobody's perfect is stupid from a Christian perspective. Because God, Jesus, whoever your deity is, doesn't ask people to be perfect. But it does ask people to do one simple, easy thing. Be a good person. And you cannot say that about Donald Trump. He has not repented for any of the 10 commandments that he has broken. He is not a good person. So even if nobody's perfect, yeah, but at least be a decent guy. He can't even do that. So that argument falls flat on its face. And these evangelical Christians have proven to us for decades now that they're not living their lives according to the Bible. They're not seeking out candidates who live their lives according to the Bible. They're pushing a purely political agenda disguised as their weird version of Christianity. Well, folks, we have crossed that 1 million subscriber milestone, but rest assured, we are just getting started here at Ring of Fire. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel and make sure to like, share, and comment on the videos.